With another video, and this is going to be actually a vinyl review, an album review. And now I normally do these with my partner in crime, Derek, but it's actually kind of been hard to get together with him lately. He lives so far away, and we're always working complete opposite schedules, but hopefully we'll have another video up soon. But this album that I particularly wanted to review anyway is an album that I don't think he would be in favor of. I don't think he really is that familiar with Blind Melon, and that's the band that I'm going to review. And he's kind of biased when it comes to 90s music. I don't think he really gives a lot of that stuff a proper chance. I think I want to speak for him, but I feel like 90s band is something that, I mean, if you even ask him to listen to like the Smashing Pumpkins or Blind Melon, you showed it to him, he wouldn't give it much of a chance. But that's just him. He kind of sticks with what he likes, and there's nothing really wrong with that. But the album I am going to review right now, though, is one of my favorite albums probably of all time. Definitely one of my favorite albums of the 90s. It's definitely up there, and it's Blind Melon, their self-titled debut album. And this, of course, is the 20th anniversary edition, as you also have the cassette here and the CD here. But, I mean, Blind Melon, in my opinion, is such an underrated band from the 90s. And, I mean, they weren't really around a very long time. I mean, they're still around today in somewhat of a capacity, but they were really the main popularity of this band from, like, 1992 to 1995. And they released 2 albums, and unfortunately, Shannon Hoon, who was the lead singer of Blind Melon, passed away in New Orleans prior to a show, I believe in October of 1995, and I believe the 19-year anniversary of that was just like last week or so. And definitely, I mean, I think if Shannon Hoon hadn't passed away and could get his drug problem situated, I think, and if he was still around today, I think Blind Melon would easily would be a huge band still today. I mean, they're just I mean, Shannon Hoon too, like his vocals are just so great. There's no way you could copy his vocals and get another lead singer that could be like Shannon Hoon. I mean, there's just no way. I mean, Blind Melon is still around today. They still go on tour. They've released a couple of new albums. I don't think they've come out with anything in the last like 4 or 5 years, and they're not like terrible, but it's just, in my opinion, it's not Blind Melon. I mean, there's a couple of times I've passed up seeing Blind Melon, like at the Indianapolis State Fair for free, just because there's like other concerts and stuff, and I mean, it's like Blind Melon without Shannon Hoon. It's kind of hard to want to go see them. It's not the same thing. It's just kind of like Alice in the Chains without Lane Staley. It's just not the same thing. I mean, it's not terrible. It's not bad. But it's just not the same thing. So getting right into this album in particular, it was originally released on September 22nd, 1992, which is like kind of the week after that, September 29th, 1992, Alice in Chains actually released Dirt. So 2 very iconic albums from the 90s kind of released around the similar time frame. But starting with this review of this particular album, this is the Record Store Day 20th Anniversary Edition, which I picked this up, I want to say maybe a month or 2 ago. And this came out 2003 Record Store Day. And it's definitely something that I'm happy to be able to find for a cheap price just recently. But the first song is Soak the Sin, and it's just a great opening song. It kind of sets the tone for the entire album. It's a great song to open up things. Tones of Home is track 2. And that's probably my personal favorite song off this album. I mean, it's just a great song. It's kind of like fucky sounding. It's kind of like, to describe Blind Melon, it's kind of like, they're not like any other band from the 90s. Is kind of how I describe them. It's kind of like they take the music from the 60s and 70s and they kind of put their own spin on it. And it's great. I mean, it really is great. I mean, I feel like Blind Melon's probably the closest thing to psychedelic rock that you're going to get from the 90s. But it's just a great band. I mean, you can definitely tell that they're like, some songs are definitely influenced by like Grateful Dead and Bob Dylan, for sure. The third song, I Wonder, you kind of feel Shannon Hoon's emotion come through this song. It's kind of a more laid-back song at first, but then kind of picks up. The track 4 is Paper Scratcher, It's another great song. Definitely more than likely about drugs, but it is definitely a great song. Track 5 is Dear Old Dad, which also starts side 2 on this particular album. And I mean, it's just it's just a really good song. And I actually looked up the lyrics or the meaning of this song, and what I got out of it is that it's about his ex-girlfriend, how she found God, and how he wasn't really like receptive of how she was acting after she found God. And then 6 is a Change. This is probably another one of my favorite songs on this album. And Change is actually the first song that Shannon Hoon actually ever wrote. And I mean, just a very powerful song. And it's the part of the lyrics actually are inscribed on his tombstone. The part that says, "I know we can't all stay here forever, so I want to write my words on the face of the day and I'll paint it." I mean, it's pretty powerful stuff, and it's kind of ironic. Shannon Hoon, actually, he's buried like only a couple hours away from me in Indiana, which is where I'm at, and definitely sad song, especially now looking back at it when you hear those words come out of his mouth, and you know that he's no longer with us. But I will say that I've seen several videos of his daughter Nico Blue singing that song at Blind Melon concerts, and she does a great job doing it. I mean, I wouldn't mind if eventually she became the new lead singer of Blind Melon. That would be actually kind of cool, kind of like a full circle type of thing. But next song is probably the most famous song off this album. It's No Rain. If you've never even heard of Blind Melon, you've heard No Rain. I mean, it's just, I mean, at least where I'm from, and I mean, of course, I'm from Indiana, where Shannon Hoon grew up, so No Rain gets airplay on the radio still regularly to this day. I mean, that's kind of crazy to think. Like, over 20 years later, Blind Melon's No Rain still a song that's on the regular radio format on most stations, so it's kind of cool to think about. And of course, the music video. I'm sure everyone's seen this music video with the bumblebee in the video. It's just another iconic music video from the 90s. They definitely do not make music videos like they used to. But, you know, a very great song. I mean, it's played a lot. I mean, everyone knows it. Track 8 is Deserted. And it's really another good song. You got Sleepy House next. You got Holy Man, track 10. Track 11, Seed to a Tree. Drive, which is cool about Drive. It's during the song he kind of pays tribute to Jimi Hendrix, doing some of his some similar Jimi Hendrix guitar riffs and stuff. It's pretty cool that he does that. And the closing song, and it's a great closer. It's the song called Time. It's another just a great song, and it's actually kind of ironic because there's a newer artist. I think he's been around for like 2 years now, and his name's Jake Bugg, and he's got a song called Lightning Bolt that is plays on the radio a lot, at least down here. And it's a newer song that I actually do enjoy. I think Jake Bugg's, he's a pretty good artist. But the first time I heard Lightning Bolt, the beginning of that song always kind of reminded me of another song. And it's actually this song right here, Time. Like, the beginning of those songs are almost identical. So I think Jake Bugg might have ripped that off a little bit. So it's kind of interesting. If you get time, look up Blind Melon Time and then compare it to Jake Bugg Lightning Bolt. Very, very similar. But great album, great closer. I mean, I don't know what else needs to be said. I mean, it's just a great album. And this particular album, the 20th Anniversary Edition, which is what I'm kind of reviewing here, Side 4 is the Sippin' Time Sessions EP, which I don't think this EP was ever released before until this set. But there's 5 songs on it, and it's kind of cool how they use the Side 4 and actually put songs on it instead of just leaving it blank. But the songs on there is Dear Old Dad, Soul 1, Tons of Home, Seed to a Tree, and Mother, which of course most of those songs are actually on this album, but they're all different versions on the Sippin' Time Sessions. Dear Old Dad, which is on this album, the version on the Sippin' Time Sessions and the version in the actual album, they don't sound that much different. Soul 1's not on the album. It is a good song, though. Tones of Home, which is my favorite song off the album. It's like a completely different version on the Sippin' Time EP sessions, and it's kind of cool to hear those different versions of that song in particular. See to a Tree, it's just another different version, and Mother, not on the album, but it is a great song. It's a great closer for this particular set. But Blind Melon, definitely 2 thumbs up. If you've never heard of them, I definitely highly recommend looking them up. I mean, they really only had like 2 albums out with the original lead singer before he unfortunately passed away. And that's their self-titled debut album, which is obviously just called Blind Melon, and their second album, which is called Soup, which is definitely probably #1 on my want list right now to find an original copy of Soup on vinyl, but it's probably going to be like around $200 or $300 if I want to get one right away, which I just can't drop that much money on that. But Blind Melon, solid album, great band, look them up, and if you already know them, I mean, listen to them again. What can I say? I hope to have another video up soon. Thanks again, guys, for watching. I mean, definitely great album. Listen to it.